where is that you can save your bandwidth. So it is very important for huge bandwidth is available. Only they can pick up new things. But if they are kept busy in the main task, all other new innovations which are required in the important project, they get stopped, or they could get on a back burner because there is something which is urgent and finite and all of that which is going on otherwise. So what we see is that there is a limited staff and there is a big to-do list. So many other tasks keeping the light on, selective activities get into, and even the level achievers and SMEs in the IT, they end up being advanced because that's what is the day-to-day need is. So we talked about the innovation and project. That is where we have the lack of funds and lack of resources. So how can you save in your IT budget, and how is that fund can be used for projects? And another is how can you save the bandwidth of staff so that they can concentrate on important projects from your organization? That's what is we are going to touch upon to address. Are there any options available, and what is the way out in this case? So with that, I would like to upon one goal where we would like to know about some of the things in your organization, your views.
Yeah, so which of the following does your IT service management system supports? Which one applicable? Incident management, and problem management, change management, service level management. All of the above plus this, or none of the above?
All of the above plus self-service.
Okay, so the self-service, I see that there are systems in place, but there is a next level of thing which IT can take as far as service management systems maturity is concerned. Because when you are talking about challenges, what you need is when you have to go on basically making your systems rugged, systems scalable, and in that self-service is one of the key things. And we'll talk about that. We were expecting some results of this kind. Your industry where there is a lot of regulation and controls and all that, definitely you will have one or the other service desk system there. But how do you take those service desk systems to a next level of self-service and kind of employee where they see that the experience from IT is something similar to what I get on WhatsApp or my personal application when I'm basically dealing with my personal productivity apps and otherwise in my personal life. How is that IT's experience when I deal with them is consumer-like? And we'll talk about that sometime later in this presentation. So that's what we said. Service desk tools are implemented. There are standard operating procedures are there. Documented incident service requests resolved mostly manually. And there is a limited. What we have seen is that there is automation, but that automation is limited and it is siloed and it is kind of kept where it is individuals go and run those automation things. Instead of that, can there be a system which is kind of extends from service desk and ultimately gets things automatically resolved. So where is the value of automation and what are those numbers? So if we are going to go into the numbers, we see that IT operational staff cost is around 50% of overall cost of IT. That is what we have found out in various industry surveys. Second is that there are 85% of service desk costs are personal costs. So if you see that if you have to optimize in terms of the budgets available with IT, and if you want to kind of save certain costs so that that can be redeployed somewhere else, that budget service desk can be one good target area. And if you can kind of reduce the cost in service desk, and we'll talk about how that can be done. Next is automation will drive down the cost of service by 60%. That's what Gartner says. So that is where, that is your 85% of your budgets are on the of service desk is personnel cost, and automation can help you your service desk cost being reduced. Where it is coming from is by saving your cost on your service desk. So and we'll talk about that, how automation helps and how exactly it can be achieved. Let's talk about ROI from these automation systems which are there. So there are many tasks which are there in IT, for example, password reset, user provisioning of AD, healthcare, health check of a critical applications, server restart, provisioning of a VM, access to a shared folder, and things like that. You might have done some kind of automation in your company to handle some of these repetitive tasks. So I would like to throw upon another poll and check what level of automation you have achieved in the organization so far, according to your own judgment.
Yeah, so please rate what percent of your staff time is spent in mundane or repetitive tasks like setting passwords and all. So is it 1 to 20%, 21 to 40%, or 41 to 60%, or is it 61 to 80 or 80 and above?
So the question is, how if your IT service desk is there and your IT staff is there, how much is that their time goes in these repetitive tasks? They are many in number and they are kind of standard. It is not that you have to put a lot of thought in executing these tasks, but they have to do it because there is no other way for them to take care.
All right, so we have the results here. 75% have it in 40 to 60% of the block.
Right. Okay. Okay. Right. So so that is where this thing is in terms of automation. As I said, there is a siloed automation which is existing, and that's where you see that there is a saving which is there by automating certain things. But how about you take that automation to that 80-90% level, where otherwise this time is going in, what we are talking about is 40 to 60% in the manual efforts and this repetitive task, and the staff time is being kind of going in that. So it's a huge saving if you are able to kind of have some system which will save this kind of effort which is going in mundane task and repetitive task of your staff. So going back to the presentation, it basically not only that it saves the bandwidth of your staff, but it eliminates the manual errors, because many times what happens is when you are doing those mundane tasks, as a human being, we all tend to kind of get a little bit in a state where the errors can basically be there because of the fatigue which is there of doing the mundane task every day, same thing. Another important, the most important thing when I think about automation is not about cost saving. Cost saving of IT staff is one, but quick response to the business and their request almost instantaneously. If you are able to fulfill those, then there is a huge saving for business. For example, a sales person has joined your organization, and if the salesperson has to wait for a couple of hours or a day or two to get the access on your CRM system, it is a wastage of time and frustration for that salesperson. Similarly, for any other accesses, the person may be requesting because he or she has to send one important proposal or respond to a customer and all of that. Just because he or she was not able to get access to a shared folder, not able to send the particular information, it's a huge loss for the business. So if you are able to put up a system in such a way that it almost becomes a true self-service, that the request for something and almost instantaneously you are able to fulfill those requests rather than a way the ticket gets assigned to a manual queue and somebody then respond to that after a day or two, it's a huge wait time. So how can we have a quick response to the business? And that's where the automation value in a big way comes. And of course the saving of L1 L2 bandwidth, what we have talked about. So let us try to find out how is that ROI is there. If I'm investing in something like automation in my company, where is the ROI and how the calculations come out. So this is just an example and the numbers will vary based on which company, which country you are from, and your IT staff is, and how those complexity of tasks are there, and things like that. For example, here we are talking about yearly saving is let's say that a particular task you are doing manually, and how much time it is taking for one ticket or one task to be completed. That you will take that as a time. Then how many times that task to be performed in a month. So you will know that there are, so you know how much time is going in a month in doing that particular type of tasks or that particular category of tickets. And then you apply it for 12 months, how much time will go, and then cost of performing task once. So so you will basically take cost, hourly cost for that particular task, and then multiply all of this, you will get a yearly saving. For example, here in this case, let's say that for your healthcare applications or for pharma, that you have 5 important servers or business applications which you need to go and check the health every day. One of your engineers is going and doing that. So on an average, let's say that we have around 12 minutes which go in health check of the system. For example, go log in on that machine, find out the CPU memory, what are the business applications which are running, how is that their utilization of the resources is, and then put it in a report. So if this task, let's say, takes around 12 minutes, we are talking about 5 servers, so that is 60 minutes. So that is a 1 hour, which is the leftmost column, which is there. That is 1 hour every day person is spending, and then every day the person needs to do that. So it's like a 12 days, 20 days in a month, and 12 months in a year. So, and let's say that cost per hour for performing this task for the resource which is working on is $60. We are talking about around $14,000 being spent in this mundane and repetitive tasks. Just an example we have shown here, but there are many, when we talk to our customers, there are many scenarios where this is a repetitive thing which is going on. For example, employee joining the organization, employee leaving the organization, that time giving access to different systems, creating their user IDs, access to different folders and things like that. A lot of repetitive activity there. Or if you are a factory or if you are temporary staff and contractor joining you, for depending on the time of the year, you may be taking say few 10, 100, 50 contractors on for the work, and they're leaving after some amount of time. So all of those user IDs have to be kind of created, removed, again a mundane repetitive tasks. So can you automate that? So this is the way you will kind of find out what is that, where is that I can save the bandwidth of my staff. So so that's about the ROI, that you are able to save your efforts in doing these tasks by automating them. That's where the ROI is. And when there is ROI, of course, you have to look at what is the cost involved, right? So there are different costs which are involved in the tool cost. So and the cost can be prohibitively high if you go for a really big orchestration tool, and that's where I think that many companies stop their journey in this advantageous situation of doing automation, because there's not many options which are there, and then you end up buying a framework product or orchestration product, but it doesn't work in your environment. So because then you have to make those things, workflows and all that you have to build in your organization, and that is challenging also. So you have to put a developer to maintain that kind of automation. So there is a need of automation, and how the lower the TCO, how can we do that? So that's where we have basically come up with this solution called as Automation Edge, is that there is a need of automation in the organization. It can hugely benefit, but there should be something which is like start small and then build on that. So this is the solution, which is like a virtual engineer, which fulfills the task instead of your humans or the engineers, L1 and L2 engineers who are doing those activities. Advantages we talked about is fewer L1 and L2 support engineers needed, so there's a cost saving, machine solving incidents, so 0 errors, and then most important is speed of response to the business. That's what is this solution, and this solution has inbuilt adapters, and it is end-to-end service desk solution, service desk automation solution. So where the requests are coming on service desk automatically through the self-service, getting and remediation is done. Let's say that server is there and some critical application, your monitoring tool may be monitoring, and let's say that one process or one application or one system goes down, the monitoring tool throws an alert. That alert comes into your service desk. The automation edge can go and restart that particular process or that particular application or that particular server. So there is a closed loop which is happening from monitoring tool to service desk to automation. So that will ensure that your applications are highly available and remediation is done automatically. Adapters are built for Windows or Linux systems or Unix systems, cloud systems like Amazon, and packaged applications like ERP systems. So, so we can talk to any and every system and ensure that the defined steps are done on that system. And his applications like Salesforce, EBS, or Office 365, we have built the system for automation and connecting to those systems. It's offered in an OpEx model, so you basically are not paying in a CapEx and buying a huge software, but you are paying as you go and as you use. And it is maintained by Vyom Labs on a subscription basis. Lower TCO because you can start with just 10 tasks. You can decide that which one are very commonly being used in the IT. Tickets, you can basically category wise, you can sort the number of tickets. For example, you might turn out that when you see a top 10 tickets, 1 or 2 cannot be automated completely, or then there are 6, 7 which can be fully automated, 1, 2 which can be partially automated. So you will arrive at those are the tasks which are kind of candidate for automation, and you can start. And that can be a stepping stone in your automation journey that eventually you can start getting the benefit more and more, and then go on adding more and more tasks for automation. This will help you get prepared for your digital initiatives in your organization, because then you are truly becoming instantaneous resolution from IT for those tasks which can otherwise need not be waiting for fulfillment. So how do you identify? We talked about that some time back. Is study your service desk tickets, incidents, and service requests. And ticket analysis you can do is manual efforts. How much is the frequency? Is it possible to do semi or full automation of those tickets and finalize the tickets for automation? That's how you identify and the process for identifying the automation candidates. Now let's go into the service desk and self-service systems, because not that every organization is at a level where we have seen in our earlier poll that they have a mature system and a self-service in place. So first put the right service desk and ITSM system to meet your business demands, because not all IT service management systems are equal. They cost different, they are deployed differently. Cloud options are there, on-prem options are there. There are advantages of having an on-prem system as against cloud system, and vice versa. So regulatory and compliance needs might be putting some requirement on you whether you can go for on-demand or on-prem options. And then how flexible are these ITSM systems? Most important is it providing a self-service and mobile app? Because if you see that more and more systems are basically there, which are users are expecting to be available on mobile platforms. So consumerizing IT is one of the important things which you can basically consider. Is that, as I said some time back, is how can my experience be something similar to Facebook and WhatsApp, and these are personal applications which I use. Can I interact with my IT in the similar fashion? So it is not like if I have to interact with them, I have to go to a portal, put a lot of, there's a big form, and then I have to keep on putting the information, a lot of information there. So, so that is basically will have an impact on the motivation of the business users to come to IT and put the request. So what you will end up getting is then that is the email-based tickets, and that is basically put a lot of pressure on IT because you are not able to capture the information rightly, you are not able to notify them in a right time, they are not able to get an exact status of the ticket they have raised, and then there is a kind of a jitteriness and frustration that they are not able to know exactly what is that IT is working on. So they don't know the status. They end up calling you again and again. It disturbs your flow, and you are not able to optimize in your resources. So it is a very important aspect. As I said, not all service desks are equal. There are certain which provide all of this. Certain systems may not provide all of this. So there is basically a kind of a differentiation you can do, and you will be able to do between different service desk systems which are there. And so what is basically you need to do is when you are doing automation, so one is you have to put a good solid service desk and ITSM system, which is able to do the next level of things like CMDB is a very important thing for you, because there are these assets which are spread, and if you are able to kind of bring them all that into your CMDB system, you are able to effectively resolve the incidents or effectively do the changes. And also CMDB systems, when you have to think about discovery solutions. That is it, you will put all that data which is required for CMDB manually, or you will have some kind of a discovery solution which will bring in an everyday update CMDB and repository. SLM is a very important aspect. It's agreeing with the business that, because business will always say that we need everything now and I want it fastest possible way. But there are costs associated with that. Is that if I have to basically provide a service of 99.9999, then I will have to have a different level of investment in IT which is needed. So is business ready to do that? So when you go and do this kind of a conversation that if I have to give this kind of a SLA, these are kind of a costs which are there, and my system is able to give you SLA report. So that is where that mature conversation happen between IT and business, and then there is realistic expectation can be set between these two parts of the two sides of the organization. So service level management is an important aspect when you are choosing the right tool for this. And we as an organization can help you in that, in choosing the right service desk systems, because the kind of a solution we provide, it is from small, medium to large size enterprises. You have heard about BMC systems. We will be able to help them, whether it is Remedy or Remedyforce or Service Core or Trackit. So they have different options based on the needs of the organization. So when you put a service desk system, what you are doing essentially is that you are basically getting requests and incidents through your service desk system. Service request like I need is email box to be created. Incident is I am not able to use an application effectively, or a slow response is there. So those are requests and incidents get into your service desk staff, and then you will assign a right team to get them resolved. So the target system for will be your data center applications and users and desktop. So your manual staff goes and actually does certain activity and resolve the ticket and inform the user. So that's what is when once you put the service desk system, it's a manual resolution process. Your systems, when you have, it is possible that, let me show you a service catalog, because that's an important element in this. How is that your service catalog can look like? Is that you have you can have categories, and you can basically have subcategories, and you should be able to say that I want to create a virtual machine, and basically want to request for that. You should be able to say I need is a new virtual machine. Or your HR systems and requests can also be there, like there is a request for a new starter. So I should be able to go as a manager, and a new joiner is there. I should be able to fill those details and say that where the person is joining, email is needed or not, and things like that. So that's how your self-service journey can start, and there can be a service catalog where your business user can go and request for a service. Now, going back to once you have such mature systems in place, automation can be the next thing. So the solution what we have built, what it does is there are incidents and service requests. We talked about that. Some tickets get assigned to a manual queue, as we've seen in some previous slides, but some of the tickets which can be automated will be get assigned to automation queue. And that automation queue or automation edge system is a virtual engineer built by Vyom Lab, goes and picks up from that queue, and it can be a BMC service desk or any other service desk. It goes and picks up that ticket and executes those actions like provision a virtual machine or password reset or a health check. It goes and does those actions. How is it that it is able to do it? Is because it has a base adapters like Shell and PowerShell and Web Services SQL, or even if your system has only web interface, it can go and do those recorded actions repetitively and parameterized way and get the actions done, like a share for access. So it will go and create a shared for access based on service request which is received from your self-service portal. So so far we have reached in terms of how the need is there and requirement is there, the landscape is there for healthcare and pharma industry. We went into what service desk systems which are there and what options are there, and then we went into the automation and architecture. Now we have Ankita will walk us through the demo of this product.
Yeah. So before Ankita, I just by the time we switch to Ankita, we just have one more last goal here. By the time we have Ankita online, would you like to participate in any interactive hands-on workshop? If yes, what time will you opt for? So you need your inputs: morning, post lunch, evening, or if you don't want to, you can. Not interested. All right. So I'll just switch on to Ankita now, and she will drive you through the demo.
Thanks, Uday. Thanks, Uday. So I will just take you through a short demo of Automation Edge. So we would be using Remedyforce as the SRD over here, and we also support multiple service desks, but right now we will be doing with Remedyforce. So as Uday was discussing before, we have got a catalog here, and first we would be creating an Amazon EC2 machine. So we go to Virtual Intra Services and click on Create EC2 Machine. And here there are a few mandatory parameters which are needed to be inputted. So we will give operating system as Ubuntu server, type as T1 micro, and number of instances is 1. And I'll just submit the request. So once this request is submitted, we can, in the Remedyforce console, we can just refresh this and we would be able to see create EC2 machine. So I'll just click on that. And here you can see the status is open and it has been assigned to a Vyom automation queue. So this basically tells us that this service request is to be automated and it is being pushed to the automation queue. And from here on, Vyom Automation Edge engine would take care of the fulfillment of this service request. So creation of an Amazon EC2 machine takes around 2 to 3 minutes. So by that time, we will just check the other use cases. So again, I go to service request, and in accounts and access, I have got accounts and access services. And over here, first I would be creating an AD user. So I'll just click on that. And here also we have 3 set of parameters, mandatory parameters. First is SAM account name. So let me put Tony P. First name as Tony and last name is P. and let me submit the request. So once this request is submitted, we can check in the Remedy First console. Let me go again and refresh this. And here you can see that create AD user has been created also because the status is closed. So let us just open this. And over here in resolution, you can see that the username Tony P, which we had given as a SAM account name, has been created, and a randomly generated password is being given. The status is being moved to closed, and the queue is Viome automation queue. So let me just RDP to the server list where we can see the Active Directory users. So here first there was no Tony P. Let me just refresh this list. And here Tony P has been added to the Active Directory. Next, let us check the next service request, which is create Unix user. So I have connected here to the Unix server where we would be creating this Unix user. So I just run this command to show you that there is no user Tony present. So coming back to the self-service portal, let me just type in the username as Tony and submit the request. And again, let us go to the Remedy First console and refresh this list. And here you can see that create Unix user is also being, service request has been created and has been closed too. So that is how fast automation actually works. So you just submit the request and it is fulfilled. So here you have the username Tony and this particular password. So let me just copy this password. And I'll just see here whether the user has been created, and you can see that the user has been created. Now let me open and try to log in as this particular user, and I'll enter Tony and the copied password. I think there's some problem, so let me just copy it again and paste it. So it has gone in and it gives me access to this particular user. So the Unix user has been created. Now suppose you try to create the same user again. So we will see how Viome Automation Edge actually responds to it. So I go back to service request and I create a Unix user. And I give the same name Tony. And I just submit the request. And we go to the Remedy First console and let me just refresh this list again. So here you can see the create Unix user is there. So I just click this. So it's just getting loaded. Yeah. So here you can see the status is still open, and the queue is Viome automation queue. But here you can see the staff is automation staff, and this is because the particular service request could not be fulfilled. So Viome Automation Edge throws an error, and it returns back, and this service request service desk is being so it is just assigning the staff to automation staff, so manually some engineer can come and check. And in record details, in action history, you can see that user Tony exits. So it gives you a proper error message of why this particular service request could not be fulfilled. Till then, let us go back to the Remedy First console and just refresh this page. And you can see here the create EC2 machine also has been closed. I'll just reload this. By that time, I'll just log into the Amazon cloud site, so we can check whether that instance has actually been created. So let me just log into this. When this loads, I can show you that it is being closed by Viome Automation, and it is given a particular IP address that's a public IP, and a user has been created on that machine with this particular password. So we will just cross verify the public IP address whether it is the same. So let's log into this. And let's check EC2. Here you can see running instances. And there is one running instance with all the status checks done. And here you can see 228.193, and let's check whether it's the same one. So you can see here also 228.193, which has been created.
You 10-15 minutes for the Q&A. So let me quickly cover the two slides which are remaining. One is about when you use this kind of automation system, like Automation Edge, you will be able to get the statistics that this is Automation Edge report, where you see that the requests like these, you have also seen when Ankita was showing you, it is almost instantaneous, and it's like a very pleasant surprise for the users you can give is when they are requesting for certain, say, password reset, it is like in 0.49 seconds, or create user in AD, it's like in 1.33 seconds. Otherwise, it is a lot of wait of hours and days for people to get the request fulfilled. Even a complex request or an important request like a virtual machine to be created, it's like in 5 seconds. So you will get, and there is audit trail that if the requests are automatically fulfilled, you will be able to have a 100% report on what automatically was done, what steps were followed, and things like that. So closing remarks, industry as healthcare and pharma struggles with limited resources and a lot of innovation needed with the current digitization and digital initiatives in the organization. Good service desk is very important, and important is mobile self-service app, which gives a consumer-like app experience from IT. And not all systems are in the market are equal. Choose those systems which meet your current and future demands, not just the current needs. And third is automation can help in reducing the cost, and you can redeploy those resources in important projects. And Automation Edge can be one of the candidate for you to minimize the cost, reduce the cost, minimize the risk, and kind of immediate ROI you can get. You actually end up paying from the savings which from the day one. So that's what I would like to say as a closing remark. If you have any questions, you can type those in the chat window. There is a text chat window which is available, and the panel will go through it and will answer them right now in these remaining 10 minutes which are available. Over to Nilesh.
Yeah. Uday, we have a couple of questions. I'll just take one of them right now. One of our participants is saying in one of the deck you said first thing is to put the right service desk in place. So we are evaluating which one would you recommend?
Right. So as I said, it depends on your organizational needs of current and future. It is how spread is your IT, how are the user behaviors are, what they are expecting, whether the change failures are important things which are affecting the business. Is it that people are not reporting the tickets and they are just calling, or it is that there is a maturity and then they are basically seeing that there is not enough self-service. That's what is demotivating them from going on and reporting the issue on your portal. So you need to understand that, and based on that, there are various options which are there available, and we as a company are specialists in suggesting the right service desk solution for you, and we can really give you parameters and methods on which you can evaluate the different tools.
Yeah. So, Uday, thank you very much. There is one more question. Is this automation module can be merged with existing service desk portal?
It can be. So the architecture is put up in such a way that it can work with any request system. So your current service management system, if you have any portal developed, so it can get integrated, and the integration is either through web services and email. So it is very easy to achieve the integration between any portal and our system. So the answer is yes.
All right. I think we are over with this. If you have any questions and queries, please drop an email to info@vyomlabs.com, and we look forward to meet you again in our another series, which will be coming soon. We are also about to have an event soon in the next month, and our representatives will be coming back to you on that. We will be having an event wherein we will have a hands-on experience for you. So thank you very much for your patience. Hope the webinar was worth your while. Thank you very much. Good day.